Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. On to the next thing. People are starting to boycott Tim Hortons for an incredibly controversial reason.
What?
Paul, you sent this to me. Do you want to?
I did. I didn't bring up the article, but that's fine. So in essence, what's happened here is someone started a hashtag called Boycott Tim Hortons. And for those of you who don't know, Tim Hortons is a ubiquitous coffee franchise that I want to say is similar to like a Dunkin' Donuts if you live in the States or something like that, but much more intertwined with our national pride than any franchise is in America. It's just part of who we are. Would you say? Is that correct? Fair to say?
That is accurate.
I don't enjoy Tim Hortons coffee.
Nobody does.
No.
If you ask everyone, they all tell you it's terrible coffee, but
Yep.
they all drink it anyway. And same thing, I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker, and their tea is also garbage.
Yeah. But every small, it's just everywhere. It's just ubiquitous, as I said. So anyway, it's recently, so anyone suggesting you boycott Tim Hortons is almost an unpatriotic kind of a thing, right? Like there's more,
which is extra ironic considering who this is coming from.
Exactly. So of course, as first of those things we mentioned. So hey, we mentioned that maybe the food's not so good. Well, that might be a good reason to boycott it. Hey, let's get the food quality production up. Or they're not known for being the best employer in the world.
No.
Without getting too detailed into that. And
well, they're one of the places where it's like the drive-through has to be timed perfectly. Like I used to work at Taco Bell, and it was like you have goals for like this is how long they're supposed to stay at the speaker ordering their food, and this is how long they're supposed to stay at the window. And if you met the goals, then you got nothing. But if you didn't meet the goals, you get in massive trouble. And Tim Hortons is like that. They have the timers going. They want everybody out as quickly as possible. And it's very high pressure work environment.
Incredibly micromanaged,
Low
as people
pay.
I know who've worked there. Yeah. And yeah, not very forgiving. And of course, in this kind of market, that they're getting employees at all. And sometimes they don't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that would be a good reason to boycott them. Hey, let's improve work equity stuff. So, but I had to click on it because as a good Canadian, it's like, why are we boycotting this national institution? Well, it turns out the reason why we're boycotting this national institution is because they run a camp for kids who are underprivileged is the wrong word, for economically challenged kids. So they run a camp that specifically, it's not for the general public. You have to earn a scholarship in.
Yeah. And
you have to qualify to various conditions and things. One of which I actually really love and I enjoyed is that like you can't be a kid that works for the you can't be your parents can't work for them. Like you can't, they've removed a lot of nepotism opportunities as well. It's purely to get kids who can't normally go to a summer camp to go to a summer camp. Anyway, this is a big problem because this year in 2022, the first year the camp's been open in several years, all the employees and all the attendees have to be vaccinated in order to attend.
So guess who's boycotting them? The truckers.
The truckers are boycotting them.
Okay, well, I have a couple things highlighted on here. So
please do.
You touched on the vaccine mandates. So this is self-described Canadian nationalist and patriot. Those are some massive red flags right there. Mark Friesen posted a video alleging that Tim Hortons is discriminating against children who aren't jabbed. It's discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we go on, we got some clarification on the joke from Balthazar. He said Mennonite sounds like Meta Knight, which is a character from Smash Bros. I don't play Smash Bros.
That's beyond. So no Mennonite would play Smash Bros. Because A, it's an electronic video game, and B, it's predicated on hitting each other. And the whole Mennonite existence is in pacifism. So, awesome try.
Not all Mennonites deny technology.
They don't all deny technology, but to find a non-pacifist Mennonite is
that would be rare. But yeah, no, I actually you can find me singing on an album called the Canadian Association of Mennonite Schools from 2002. I was part of a mass choir that a bunch of schools got together. We were actually a Brethren in Christ school, but they kind of expanded the definition of Mennonite to get more people there.
Wow.
And yeah, that was actually one of my favorite high school experiences, even though it was like religious choir or whatever. But I actually ditched the field trip, and I had an uncle that was living in British Columbia that I hadn't seen in years, and so I met up with him while everybody else went shopping, and he took me like snowshoeing on an avalanche. But anyway, that's I digress.
Very much an aside. There we go. But
Yeah.
super chats will do that to us. Yeah. So you were talking about the anti-vaxxers.
Yes. So the anti-vaxxers. Let me get that window back up. I could play the video if we want. Do we want to actually play the video? Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Good night, Justin.
Oh, that's sorry. My kid just showed up and was like, "Can you say goodnight to Google?" Because I have a little bedtime playlist that plays soft music for them. And so yeah, actually, I'm surprised it usually tells me that it doesn't recognize the speaker, because I have it adjust the volume before it plays the thing, and for some reason 90% of the time it doesn't know what speaker I had it set to, even though I set it in the friggin' app. That's another digression. Google Homes are ridiculous at times, but I just have to adjust some audio stuff to get the audio from this thing going without echoing you. So say something, Paul.
Something, Paul.
Okay, you're still coming through, and this guy should be coming through, and you should be able to hear him as well.
I want to push this video over like some really dance music style stuff. You look like you're doing a lot of DJ stuff.
Yeah, that's. I joke that because I'm of pure Scottish ancestry, but seeing as how the Romans occupied a good chunk of that island for a good chunk of time, I joke that I have some Italian in me. So I talk with my hands, and people have commented on that when I do the videos with my face in them. Is like people ask me like, "Oh, do you gesture like that when you're not on camera?" It's like, yes,
Of course we do.
I have
That's right.
smacked my microphone on more occasions than I care to admit.
All right, quick 2-minute drill. I just, as I do every day, came to grab my Tim Hortons coffee.
Yeah, as you do. Do
And
they
as
still?
I'm sitting,
Okay, this is another digression, but did you hear that rumor a while back that they were actually putting nicotine in their coffee?
I didn't.
Yeah. So apparently, well, well, I think it's not nicotine, but it's like something that is similar to nicotine. Like it's not caffeine, but it's similarly addictive like nicotine. So that's why people keep going back for their coffee. I don't know how true that is. That's a rumor. But I heard from someone who heard from someone else that it's actually on the ingredients list on the thing that they saw when they worked there.
That sounds like a Canadian rumor to me. Yeah.
No, it sounded like a biblical attestation for the risen Christ to me.
sitting here enjoying my coffee and going through my social media, I come across a story that says that Tim Hortons is discriminating against children who aren't jabbed. So
Yeah, it's not discrimination. It's safety. It's health and safety. Like,
Right, and which we'll get to, and
oh, it gets worse. It get. Have you seen the video yet? Like, I know they get to it in the article later, but
these children that aren't jabbed, a jab that is completely unnecessary, potentially dangerous.
Just personal anecdote time. We recently had COVID go through my house twice. Both times, the person that brought COVID home was the only person that got COVID. So my daughter brought COVID home. She had COVID. She had barely any symptoms. Like little bit sniffly, little bit of a fever. That was it. And she was better in a couple days. You do the quarantine thing and send her back to school.
Exactly.
The next week, now it's possible that she gave it to him, but he's also I think one of his friends had COVID just before he got it as well, and it's like someone that is sitting in his little desk group. But my youngest son had COVID, and again, same thing. Like in the household, we put our masks on and we kept separate and stuff like that. But yeah, so then he had COVID. He had it a bit worse than she did. He actually like coughed and felt sick a little bit. But yeah, it was pretty mild as far as colds go. and neither myself nor my other son ever got COVID. Like we've been testing, like, and this was like the week before the God Awful Movies thing, so I was like freaking out, like,
oh, I bet
I've spent so much money on this weekend and I can't cancel half the stuff that I've already paid for. I can't get COVID. I can't get. So I was testing myself every friggin' day, and it's like, and like every time I like felt the need to clear my throat, I'm like getting paranoid. Like, is that a cough? Am I starting a cough? And it's like, no, that was just, I needed to clear my throat. That's it. That was, but yeah. So I used in Canada, we get tests for free at Walmart. So I've been using them liberally, and yeah, no, myself and my other son have not got COVID. We are all fully vaccinated. I am boosted, and I feel like that might have something to do with that. Because, oh, are you hearing that? Were you not hearing that before?
No.
That's the super chat noise.
Okay.
I get complaints about that all the time, and I ignore them.
So to this guy's point, I mean, he said that, you know, the vaccines are dangerous. I mean, it's not that there are known risk factors. Like, so it's similar to like, hey, I had a heart attack, but am I going to get in an ambulance because the ambulance might get in a car accident? Well, okay, maybe, but the ambulance is still the best way for me to survive this thing, right? So, well, everything's got risk factors.
Not to actually you, but if there's something like a stab wound or like something egregious like that, like that's bleeding out, it can often be better if you just go to the hospital yourself. Because
I said heart attack.
Okay, heart attack. But if there is blood flow, now I am not a doctor. Do not take medical advice from me.
Okay.
But my understanding is that if there is active blood coming out somewhere, it's best to get to the ER with a private ride rather than going through an because with an ambulance, like you have to wait for them to get you there,
right?
And then they will patch it up as best they can, but they're not gonna they're not the final solution. Final solution's kind of bad given the article we're on right now and the general leanings of people like that. But anyway, they're not.
I think my point still stands even for driving yourself. You could get in a car accident going to the hospital, but you should probably still go to the hospital. Yeah.
Nuclear engineer is saying, show us more dogologia. Show us the dog.
Dog is very active tonight, so you're gonna see.
Yeah, dog's been going back. Well, my cat has been acting like she's starving. I guarantee you right now, if I check her dish, it's still halfway full of food. But she's becoming picky in her old age because she gets there's a wet food that we give her medicine mixed up in, and she likes that better than her dry food, but the dry food is still the bulk of her diet. So she tries to act like she doesn't have any food when she has lots of dry food because she wants the treat.
I think you and I would act the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, got to catch up on these super chats. Godless Blessing says a lady was kicked out of the clan of Amish because she was too Mennonite. She was two men a night. Okay.
That's not a new joke, but all right, good one.
And then someone says, "Love the super chat noise." You're the first. If you go to the watering hole and look at the comments, I don't know how far back it was, but there are only like 7 comments on every video. There's at least one that's like, if that voice keeps interrupting the speakers, then I'm just not going to watch anymore. So everybody sends super chats to annoy that person.
That's right.
I'm shameless. Okay, back to this guy.
To children. So when these children are not jabbed, they are now being discriminated against by Tim Hortons and not allowed to attend Tim's camp. Tim's, I've donated to Camp Day for, I don't know, how long have you been open?
Okay, side note, I'm kind of on the fence about this one because Tim Hortons Camp Day actually does do a lot of good, and it is specifically run by Tim Hortons. But generally speaking, don't give to charity at the checkout of big chain stores, because what that is you are subsidizing a tax break for them. It is their way of being able to donate money to charity, and then they get to write that off on their taxes as a charitable donation without it cutting into their profits. So they get to look good by being like, oh, look how much money we give to charity. Meanwhile, it's you guys giving $1 here and $2 there at the cash register. So Now, I'm on the fence with Tim Hortons Camp Day because, like I said, that's actually run by Tim Hortons, so maybe there's a different dynamic going on there. I don't know, but I give directly to charities.
But generally,
myself.
if they want to say, hey, you're at the hardware store, and they say, do you want to give $1 to the food bank? Well, that maybe just give $1 to the food bank. That would be good.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly it. I give my money directly to the food banks. Speaking of, if you go to vicerhino.com/donate right now, the fundraiser for the Bridget Alliance is still going on. I'm not like promoting that super hard this time, but it's a thing that helps pay for people who need abortions it helps pay their travel expenses if they need to travel, which it sucks that they need to travel, but some of them do.
Right.
And now's an important time to do that. If somebody's in need of one, they've got a couple months. Olivia Williams says, to annoy this person, and Steve Brown says, yeah, that noise is cool. Oh, I'm shameless.
Every time it comes up, I donate to Camp Day. I've been a loyal customer for as long as you've been around.
I feel like he's old enough that might be true.
I'm done with Tim Hortons. I will never buy another item from Tim Hortons unless you fix this immediately. Unless you change your policy and not discriminate against children who aren't jabbed.
Okay, yeah, I just want to talk about the language that he's using there, because like it always kind of intrigues me. Like boycotts work. Boycotts can work.
Of course.
But there's just something so arrogant about people approaching it like, no, it is my personal money that's going to make the difference. Like, I've been a loyal customer. I give to Camp Day, so I'm not going back until... It's like, I get it. You say, like, hey, guys, I would like to boycott this company because I think we can accomplish something with that. So let's all join in together and boycott them. Like, that's the way you do a boycott, because they don't care about individual customers. They care about the groups.
Right. I would be willing to bet money that there will be another... In June, he will have receipts from Tim Hortons.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Tim Hortons coffee has nicotine in it.
So nicotine-like addictive substances, allegedly.
I think it started with a D.
I think we need to call that lawyer.
Andrew! Ugh. If there's a bunch of bleeps in this episode on the re-upload.
Tim Hortons contains lovely goodness. Canadian flavor.
Simpsons deep cut, right? Right? There we go. Yeah. Mr. Black.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, Tim Hortons is disgusting. That's why we should boycott.
That's right.
Sorry.
Since when? For the last 30 years, it's been pounded into our brain that we are to be tolerant and respectful.
Here we go. Here it comes.
And diverse and inclusive.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now it's okay to discriminate. It's okay to judge people based on their health. Are you kidding?
That's not what this is.
No, it's not okay. So Tim's, we're done. Fix it.
Oh no, he doesn't actually. Okay, so okay, it's later in the article that we get to that, but like, yeah, no, it's like this isn't discrimination along the same lines as what they've been fighting for the last 30 to 50 years, or fighting against, rather. They're not fighting for discrimination.
Right. When I was a young lad, most of my summers were spent, as a good Christian does, volunteering at Christian camps all summer long. And let me tell you, and I read through Tim Hortons on their website. They have their qualifications for this, and let me tell you, they do have some health considerations that you have to be able to pass, because these are going to be kids who need to be able to not have one-on-one supervision. They need to not, like, so the counselors aren't qualified to give medications. There's all kinds of situations for the health of the kid that the camp is just not equipped to handle. And of course, one of the main things that came out shortly afterwards, a lot of people were tweeting back, is that it's apparently what was being tweeted at least was that kids go to this camp. Specifically, they allow kids with autoimmune diseases to attend the camp. and therefore those are. I understand that maybe you would consider that not all kids are high risk, but kids with autoimmune deficiencies are definitely high risk.
Yeah.
And so, these are basic safety precautions. Also, you are not allowed to bring knives or guns to the camp.
Or peanuts, probably.
Or peanuts. Yes. There's a whole list of things that you cannot bring to the camp that are, again, for the health and welfare of all the people. Not everyone can selfishly do.
I feel like a deadly virus is on the list of things you shouldn't be bringing to camp.
Exactly. So, and also, obviously, this is not a government mandate of any kind. This is like a volunteer thing that you can possibly join. Can place any kind of qualifications they see fit for their own just legal protection, let alone the safety of everyone else.
So Gupdo3 says, fellas, is racism the same as health problems? And then Steve Brown says, you two remind me of my bestie and his baby brother. They're happy atheists from St. Stephen's, New Brunswick. So who's the baby brother?
You have to be, I would say.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're a little older.
Just
you worked on episode 1. I enjoyed episode 1 as a child.
Well, maybe I was a a prodigy of some sort. You don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Paul's only 30, y'all. Anyway, I wanted to come down and see. There's this lovely image right here. Oh, I'm zoomed in way too far for that. Tim Hortons, sorry I'm not allowed to play with you. Inclusion is not simply about physical proximity, it's about intentionally planning for the success of all children. And it's got a picture of a white girl and a black girl sitting in class from like the 1950s.
I saw that one. Oh no.
Yeah, like, really? That's what the response to this one is. What's it like to be so morally bankrupt that you'd use an image from actual segregation to reinforce your oppression fantasies? I'm guessing thin and unfulfilling.
Anyhow, boycotting corporations to bypass safety policies is just a new height of hubris, I would suppose, or self-aggrandizement. We're having too much of this individualism rub off that Americans are spreading our way.
Yeah. Friggin' Americans. Godless Blessing says, what noise? Is it? My most profitable streams are always the ones where I just do something stupid for the super chats. Matt Lambert says, love both your guys' channels. You've helped me be able to defend my opinions. For that, I figure this is the least I could do. Also, prequels for the win. Thank you, Matt. Oh, hey, I know Adam Savage worked on the prequels a bit. Did you ever meet him?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He built the model for the Mon Calamari City thing in episode 2.
And he was lucky he got to work at the... he didn't work on the ranch. This is a story. It was way too long. Doesn't matter. But he worked at the... I love going to visit there because they worked at the very cool place where the model builders were off-site.
Yeah.
And they had all the cool stuff. Yeah,
Oh, Star Wars and models, man. And the Greeblies. I love Greeblies.
So they kept a lot of the Greeblies from like ILM just kind of kept them around, and it's very cool to see in the archive. They've got the proper ship alongside the leftover kit bash stuff. So what we're talking
if you're not familiar, okay, just a second. I'll be right back. I'm getting an example.
Uh-oh. We're talking about now practical. So we're talking now about episodes 4, 5, and 6. We didn't really do any kit bashing in episode 1, 2, and 3.
So Greeblies, I have here my fabulous Falcon, the 3D printed thing. So Greeblies are like all the little details on here of like the pipes and crap that like they look like they're supposed to do something, but you don't really know what. It's just to like kind of give it a more realistic look. In the case of Star Wars, they actually went like they cranked the Greedleys up to 11 because the whole aesthetic they were going for was like everything is beaten down and worn down, it's been repaired a million times, and we don't quite understand really how it works anymore. We're just kind of doing our best throwing it together and like adding modifications to kind of jury rig things into working. And so they went to town with the Greedleys for Star Trek, or no, Star Wars. Star Trek, it was the opposite. All the ships are nice and smooth because they get everything and they understand everything. And they would do Greedleys for when they're interacting with cultures that don't quite understand the technology.
And I love to think about how the random, just like they would literally take model kits of cars and whatever and just like crunch them up and glue the stuff on. I love to think like the random accidents that were happening. The happy accidents were happening, 1970.
Well,
then now model makers for generations now try to build authentic Millennium Falcons. I've had to literally trace that same pipe that was
well, so I recently watched an interview with Adam Savage where he talked a little bit about Greedleys, and kit bashing is when you take a model from something like a World War II plane or whatever, and you just take parts of that model and you make it into something that you use that parts for Greedleys. And there's one specific thing that's from a model that like pretty much every model maker, he described it as the Wilhelm scream of Greedleys. So it's like every single model maker uses this little thing. It's like a little dome with like 4 little things on the corners. And he actually got excited. There was a model that he made that model had to be made into a full-size set. So like he got all excited when he saw like an actual like full-size Greedley Wilhelm scream being made into a set. So